Well, hello, Nicole. Welcome back to the show.
Hi, thank you so much. It's so good to see you
Yes,
again.
it's so good to see you. So, for those of you watching and listening, I got to give you a little backstory. Nicole and I first met when I interviewed her last year in 2020. I'm not sure what month it was. I think it was like
Probably like
September,
October.
October. Yeah.
Yeah.
So October. And then we got to talking. And then Nicole ended up enrolling in the boot camp and one on one coaching after that.
Yeah.
And I've gotten to know
Literally like right
Nicole.
after that.
Yeah, like that day. I gotten to know Nicole so well the last few months. And I'm just couldn't be more ecstatic for the success she's seen on her channel now and just where she's headed. So, Nicole, welcome back.
Thank you.
And you're pregnant.
And I'm pregnant. Yeah. So I remember that day because we talked, we did the interview and then we talked on the phone after for like, I think an hour.
Hmm.
And I was just pouring my heart out to you
I
about
know.
all the things I was feeling about my channel and the changes I wanted to see and I wasn't seeing them. And that's when we had like such a good conversation and I was like, oh, I really want to hire her. What do I got to do to hire her? So
And you
I'm
made
so
it
excited to
happen.
share that all with people today. I really am.
Well, awesome. Like let's dive into it. Let's get into it.
Yeah.
So, before the coaching and the boot camp, where were you at with your channel?
Yeah, it was like the way I would describe 2020 looking back. I mean, people have a lot of negative words for 2020,
Yeah.
but my 2020 in terms of YouTube was like a plateau. I had reached a plateau with my channel. It was like stagnant. Because 2019 went really well for me. That was when I hit a viral video, my channel exploded, and I experienced so much growth. And then it kind of just all, slowed down a little bit. And then 2020 was like trying to figure out like what is going on with my channel and how do I continue keeping my views up and my subscribers engaged. And so it was really at a point where I think I was around like 180,000 subscribers and it wasn't increasing. Like I was looking at the numbers every day. You know how you get in your head and you're obsessing over your numbers. And it was like every day it was like increasing a little, decreasing a little, increase. So then basically staying the same, it wasn't changing, which was so frustrating to see. It was like at 180,000 for just like months, it's just crazy. That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
So, and then my views were also lower than I would have liked and lower than I felt like I deserved my views to get with the amount of time I was putting into videos. Because, as many people know, who do YouTube, it takes hours to film, hours to edit. Plus, when you have a kid, everything takes longer. So it was like nuts the amount of time I was putting in and then what I was seeing, come through with the views. Like I was just very unhappy
Mm-hmm.
uh, at that point. So I also think I was stuck in terms of like what type of videos I should be doing. I really was questioning like, am I doing the right type of videos anymore? I had gone through like a channel rebrand, and so I really wanted to hone in on like the motherhood stuff and baby content. But I was doing a lot of like day in the life vlogs, and I was getting stuck in that, which as we talked about
Yeah.
later. So it's kind of a harder like view count to get, I think. So yeah, I was really feeling stuck. By the time we talked, it was like that's why I said I poured my heart out because I was exhausted from all the work I was doing and just like so tired of not seeing any changes.
Mm-hmm. You were working
Yeah.
really hard. What was your view count on average per video around that time?
At that time, I think it was like it can range anywhere from maybe like 5,000 views on a not very good video to maybe like 12,000 to 15. But I wasn't really getting many like, any more semi-viral or viral videos
Mm-hmm.
at that point anymore. Maybe very seldom, every few months one would suddenly do well. It was pretty low. Like for me, that was not for my channel and the amount of subs I had, that wasn't too good.
That wasn't a good ratio. Yeah, and you
Yeah.
had an interesting. Everybody has a different path to success on YouTube, right? And
Yeah.
your path was interesting in that you had a huge viral video that really carried your channel and got you a ton of subscribers. And
Yes.
it was like we were playing catch up from your subscribers that you had to the views.
Absolutely. Yeah. That came so fast, so quick, all in. It was like May of 2019. And then it truly carried my channel, that viral video. And it did take me through like the rest of 2019. It did pretty well because I rode the wave. And so it was a video where I told my husband I'm pregnant, and I surprised him, and people loved it. And then they wanted to follow along the journey, which is like fantastic, because then it was like, oh, okay, so now I'm 6 months pregnant. These are my symptoms. And now the baby came, and everybody would have wanted to watch the birth vlog. And so it was pretty, like, I don't want to say easy, but compared to what I went through in 2020, looking back, I'm like, whoa, that was a lot easier. Because I was just like on a high going with it. So yeah, it definitely took me far, that one video.
So then how did you start to feel once things started to slow down for you and it became from, like you said, kind of easy to
Yeah.
more of a struggle?
It was just frustrating. It's just frustrating to see, like I said, all the work you're putting into videos. I thought I was doing the right things because I was really looking at other channels that were similar to mine and in the same niche, motherhood. And I saw these channels doing awesome, and they were like, just doing day in the life videos. So I'm like, oh, that's what I should be doing, because that's what they're doing, and they're getting 50K plus views. But I think what I wasn't taking into consideration was the fact that they had a higher subscriber count. They had more loyal fans that have been around for a long time. Whereas mine were kind of just, that true fan. I was still like trying to reel those people in and find the right people that can join me on this journey and that wanted to follow my channel. So I was sort of, I think that I realized like my technique, my strategy wasn't really aligning. And I was trying to do what these channels were doing that were just not at a place that I was at yet. So I couldn't do that. So it was frustrating. It was very frustrating.
Yeah, no, I remember that conversation like it was yesterday after the interview. So tell me what it was like going through the boot camp materials and then the one-on-one coaching with me.
Yeah. The boot camp was really good for me. It was kind of like a reset to really think about those foundational items that I hadn't thought about for a while, because I was already like in the middle of having my business. It had already grown a ton and all of that. I did establish certain things that were already in place. So I kind of knew my why and I kind of knew my niche. But it was really, really nice to be able to get back in there and like just reconstruct it all and gain more clarity around all of it. I asked you like a million questions during that boot camp because I wanted to get my why statement like perfect. And I wanted to know exactly like, okay, who exactly is my audience? Who is the woman that's watching my videos? And like, I really wanted to get those in detail. And then also it was helpful to, like, I remember where it was all about like studying other people's channels. And that was huge for me because I was studying people's channels. So I sort of knew who I should be looking at. But it also helped me see like, their day in the life might do well, but like what's really blowing up on their channel. Actually like looking at their channels and studying them deeper. That was a really, really good
lesson in the boot camp.
Yeah, I really liked that one. So that was good. And then also kind of refreshing on the analytics. I always knew analytics were important. And I've, done other boot camps in the past where it was like, I know generally title matters, tag matters, certain things matter, but I really didn't understand how much they matter. I mean, it can literally make or break a video. And doing your homework in advance and looking up on another channel, another video similar to yours, what were their tags? What, how did they arrange their thumbnail and their like all of those pre-work things, all those steps beforehand that I wasn't really taking. So that was kind of more how the boot camp was. And I thought it was really good for me to do and to actually go through all those exercises. So it prepared me, I think, so that once we started coaching one-on-one, I knew that like foundational information, and I had way more clarity around like, why am I doing what I do? It's like priceless. You need to know that.
Yeah, and your audience and all that. Yeah, and just for those of you watching and listening, I make everybody that does one-on-one coaching with me go through the boot camp. And it's like no exceptions. I don't care if you have 5 subscribers or like Nicole, 180,000 subscribers, you're going to sit through every single lesson in the boot camp before we get together. And not only that, I give them a bunch of homework to do. And you were great. You did your homework. I mean, that's, that's why people see results. I have a very, very specific process that everybody has to follow. And you were a good student.
Thank you.
So let's talk about what happened. Oh, thank you. What was the biggest breakthrough that you had when you were going through, on your own, the boot camp materials?
I think probably, and this is like a hard one to even explain, I struggled with really figuring out like, okay, my niche, because I was a channel that was like vlog style channel, like a lifestyle channel, but I wasn't a channel that like was doing specific how-to videos. So like, how to cook vegetarian meals. Like if that's one channel's niche, that's so specific. It's like you could really just, exactly who your audience is, exactly what kind of videos you do. My channel was a little bit different in that it was lifestyle, and I was just sharing different lifestyle, different things about my life and my home and my family, because when you're in the boot camp, you're along with other students, and so you actually hear like what their responses are to things. And sometimes I just felt like, oh, my channel's a little different, so it's not like I just do cooking or I just do how-tos or I do just like a specific thing. Mine's a little more like I generally share my lifestyle, which can be really hard to like hone in and pinpoint who your audience is and like what exactly type of videos should you be doing, because like I said, I was like, you see the bigger channels and they're just literally vlogging their day. But it's like, that's not going to work for everybody. So I think that was probably the biggest breakthrough moment for me, was just like, you're a lifestyle channel, you share your life, and we're going to work on figuring out what does your niche audience enjoy seeing the most. And once we started working together one-on-one, we like really dug into that and we tested out some different things, and we've learned like, okay, maybe you shouldn't do those kind of videos anymore. But because I'm like a very formula person and like a rule person, I just wanted like a very clear cut answer to that. But it's not always like that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like something I had to learn. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. What was the most helpful part of the boot camp itself for you, separate from the coaching?
Yeah, I think what I loved the most was really figuring out my why. As I kind of mentioned before, I like generally knew what it was, sort of, but I had never really concretely like written it down and figured it out. And you gave us like a whole formula to figure it out. And it, like, you asked the right questions, and the entire lesson literally step by step brought you through what your sentence is going to be of what your why is. And I think that's one that I really enjoyed, because I have this actually that sits in my office every day.
Oh, yay!
I can see it. I'm not good at memorizing stuff, so I need to like see it. Yeah. But this was what I came up with, and we like switched it a few times. I know me and you went back and forth, and I was trying to figure out exactly how I wanted it to be, and I'm so happy with how it is. So it's to inspire women to become the God-ordained version of themselves so that they can impact their families and the world in a powerful way.
Oh, yeah.
And
it's pretty.
Kind of a mouthful, but it really encompasses like everything that I'm trying to do with my channel. And on days where I'm having a really hard day and I just want to quit everything, because we all have days like that, I just see this and I look at it and I reread it and I remind myself why I'm doing what I'm doing, which helps me continue to do it. So I think it's huge. I mean, this is like one of the most important things you need to do when you start a business or when you start a YouTube channel. So yeah. I love that lesson.
Oh, I love that. That's my goal too. I always tell people, take that why, stick it around wherever you're filming, where you're getting ready, because there's going to be low days. And when there's low days, you got to remember why you're doing this.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's move on towards the coaching. So then, as I mentioned, anybody that does one-on-one coaching with me, they go through the whole boot camp, they go through all the materials, and then we get together for our first call. So tell me what it was like going through one-on-one coaching.
Well, I loved it. I couldn't get on that first call with you fast enough. I did all my lessons in boot camp because you wanted me to finish that before we can jump on our call. And It was a lot. Like there's just so much to cover in a call. But it's so helpful. Like it's just so helpful. And I remember scrolling through all of my videos and we were looking at them and you were kind of pinpointing a few things that you saw like off the bat and we were taking notes back and forth and throwing ideas back and forth. I mean, every single call I had with you was like so beneficial. And once we got into like the strategy and all of that, that was amazing. But I remember some of the first things we did was like get a bunch of just ideas out there. So we were looking at my channel and it was like, okay, what has done well in the past already? And I never even realized that I was doing it or that those were the ones that were doing the best, right? So just like little things like that you were noticing and pointing out to me, that was so helpful because then we were able to start creating a list of like, you came up with so many video ideas for me.
Yeah.
And we just started knocking out lists of ideas. Oh, we can do this, we can do that. I remember too, another like kind of breakthrough moment for me once we started coaching was you just like helped me recognize what makes my channel and myself different and unique from other channels, what's going to help me stand out from other people. And it was things that to me, I thought was no big deal at all because it's just me. I already know myself. I'm with myself every day. So there's just like specific things that I really didn't think mattered. And I really never even thought, oh, I should incorporate that into a video. So that was kind of like the beginning of our coaching sessions, was just figuring out who am I and how do I exude that in my videos. And you also encouraged me by saying like, your audience cares about you and they just want to know about your life, just want to know more about you. So you should share that.
So then what happened after, say, that first call?
Well, after that first call, we immediately started implementing things. One of the first things was you were like, we're getting you on a 2 video a week schedule. Because at that point I had only done 1 video a week for like 2 or something. Like I was only doing one once in a while. Maybe I did 2, but it was pretty rare. So you challenged me to, do 2 a week. So I got very busy. But we had so many video ideas that it was like, okay, I just had to plan better. I had to plan my time out better. And then we also realized that the sit down talking head videos really don't take a lot of time. They actually take less time than a vlog video that you take all day on would take, which to me was like mind blowing because I never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
So once we were able to figure out like, okay, maybe once a week I do more of a vlog style, and then the second video is like a sitting down talking head video, it really didn't take as much time as I thought it would. But it helped me be more disciplined, I think, in my planning. And so we were really like, we knew exactly what videos I was doing every week. Like you always knew exactly what was coming up. So I just started to plan and I just started to execute from there. And what was great is I was able to communicate with you whenever I needed to. Like we talked through, Messenger. I would have questions that would pop up in my head all the time and I would just immediately message you. You would get back to me that day. And then once the videos are going up, you also helped with a lot of back end work and you would film it for me, which was really helpful because then I could see what you're doing and why you were doing it. Like you were talking through the audio, letting me know, hey, I'm changing these hashtags. This is why I'm doing this. And for me, like I'm very visual. I just need to see it all. I need to understand why you're doing it. And then I can go replicate it. And so that was like wonderful that you did that. So yeah, we got to work right away, started putting up some videos, and we didn't see a ton of traction yet. We would see kind of, I think the videos were doing like how they should be doing. Like, how it tells you like your video is getting as many views as it should be getting. Yeah. So it was doing pretty good. And then we would analyze, after a video went up, take a look at the back end and see how it's doing and make any changes that we thought maybe we should make. So if it wasn't getting like good click through for the thumbnail, well then, maybe you should go retake the thumbnail or mess around with the title a little bit, like just tweak little things here and there, which I had never really done before. Like in the past, I'd just stick a video up and if it did well, great. And if it didn't, I was like, oh, well, this video failed. I didn't even really consider like going back and doing anything else to it. So that was so good for me to learn. And so we were just going, and then we got a big hit, like a really good video that did awesome. And that was actually the speaking Romanian to my husband all day.
No, but remember one of the first videos that you uploaded after we did the coaching, that
Uh-huh.
was a hit. The regrets. Remember that one? That was the first
Oh yeah,
one.
yeah, yeah. Yes,
That one
yes.
got to 100K views. Like,
You're right. You're
yeah.
right. It was oh, what was it called?
That it was what I
Things I
regret most
regret.
in my first year of parenting.
Oh yeah.
Wasn't
So
that
that
it,
one
right?
actually, yeah, that one
Mm-hmm.
did really well. That was the first one to like really
And
take
that was the
off.
first one. I think that was the first one you uploaded after our call.
Oh, okay.
You remember
Yeah,
that? It
that was
did pretty
definitely
good.
before the remaining one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
yeah, yeah.
did pretty good, and then it boom started to shoot up.
Yes, which made me
Mm-hmm.
really happy
Yeah, I know.
because we when we looked at that video, it had been so long since I saw any positive numbers on my
I know.
analytics, and like, when you look in the creator studio, and I
Mm-hmm.
was just like so excited to finally see something pay off.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, so that was excited. And what we saw that was really awesome about that one was it impacted a video that I put up like a year before
Mm-hmm.
where I talked about baby breastfeeding, weaning my baby off of breastfeeding. And because I mentioned that video in that newer video. And so that one suddenly
And we
spiked.
optimized it too. We optimized the whole thing.
We were always doing that. And so that was like super exciting because we were like, wow, that impacted this. We never thought it would. I didn't really think about it, but look how it did that. And so then all my like everything was increasing and everything was in the green. I remember we were looking at it and you're like, everything's green. Like this is really good that everything's green. So yeah, that was like such a good feeling. I was like, it was like a sigh of relief. Like things are paying off. Thank you, Erica. Yeah, and then the remaining video was a little bit later. But that was also your idea. So you're like, well, why don't you try this out? Like maybe it'll do well with your channel. And I was like, okay, I'm willing to give it a try. Sometimes need that extra push for someone to be like,
Push.
no, you need to do this. Like this, like try it
Like, do
out,
it
you know?
now.
Yeah, it's like just and hold you accountable to it. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. And I was so nervous about it because I'm not very good at Romanian, which was like the joke of the whole video.
Yeah,
Because I'm like
yeah,
butchering my Romanian along the way, but that's why people liked it, I think, because they thought it was
yeah.
hilarious. I tried, I did my best. Regardless, I think that video was like pretty normal for like a month, and then it took off too. That one took a while. And
Mm-hmm.
before that one, we did you told me to do a video with my sisters.
Oh,
Like
that's
do
right.
the Q&A with my
Mm-hmm.
sisters.
Mm-hmm.
Um and so like yeah, and the thumbnail said like 5 Romanian sisters, so we kind
And
of
we
like threw the
changed that thumbnail.
yes, we did
Remember?
change. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, we threw the whole Romanian like angle in that too. And like at first they weren't really like not much was happening and the views were kind of normal. But then after about a month, yes, they both actually did really well.
Yeah.
More so than speaking Romanian to my husband all day, which I think now has like 350,000 views, which is very good for my channel.
Yes.
Um, and it brought in a whole new audience that was a bunch of Romanians, who my
Mm-hmm.
loyal people who
I
were,
told you, right? Did we talk
they,
about that?
oh, look, I found a Romanian girl on YouTube and I think it's awesome. And so
Mm-hmm.
that was so cool to see because now people will still comment on my videos and just like that just connected us, like that little piece of information that people didn't even know. And I assumed
Mm-hmm.
everybody knew it. I was like, oh, everyone already knows that because like I've mentioned it at some point in the vlog here or there, but it's like that doesn't mean they know or that they
Yeah.
saw that little vlog you put up, you know? But
Mm-hmm.
having like multiple videos that say Romanian in the thumbnail or Romanian in the title, now people are starting to understand more about who I am.
Mm-hmm.
So that was like major paid off. Like right
Yeah.
there, it all paid off. Like we're just go now.
I'm glad you didn't. Because we did a lot of good stuff. Um so what helped you most with the one-on-one coaching?
I think um, learning how to be more strategic with everything I was doing. Like I said before, I was a little lazy. Like I was like, I'll just put it up and if it does good, fine. I really was not thinking through like the steps I should be taking beforehand. You know, like now before I even film, I typically already have an idea of what the title is going to be and what some hashtags are that I'm going to use and like what my thumbnail should be because we've gone back and forth with thumbnails so many times. And I'm always still in my head thinking, what would Erica want me to do in this thumbnail? Always a specific way, you know? So that was, yeah, just the strategy behind every single video. I remember in one of your lessons, it said when you're talking to the camera, talk to them as if you already have a million people watching you. And I like love that. That still sticks with me to this day because I do think people get very hung up on, you know, if you have like 50 subscribers or a million, like at the end of the day, whoever's on the other side of that computer matters and we should be talking to them like they matter. So I always try to keep that in my mind. But back to the strategy stuff. Yeah, just the strategy behind everything and really putting more effort and time into that. It does take more time, but once you start to see the numbers changing in the back end, like it's all paying off and it's actually making a difference. Yeah, just all like the behind the scenes work, you know, and also switching to more like of the informative videos as opposed to like, let me just vlog this week and put up another vlog. Not that vlogs are bad. I still do vlogs here and there,
Yeah.
but I know they're not going to be my like
Home
viral,
runs.
semi-viral videos. They're not my home runs. That was the word I've been trying to think of this
Mm.
entire time. They're not going to be my home run videos. Those are more geared towards like people who are already subscribed to me, who just like me and want to see how my day went with my kiddo, you know? So yes, like switching the gears on that and doing more informative, specific, like very specific videos, topical videos. I did talk about the thumbnails a little bit, which was very helpful. Because you were right there. Like just I'd send you a thumbnail idea and you'd say, "Hey, maybe change the color of this on top of that or the script font," you know. You're very specific with me on like what you thought I should change and why I was changing it. And like I said, that's going to help me in the long run, not just in that moment because now when I do stuff I still think about that. Just having you like having your brain help me out. But also, like I said, learning how I can think more in that way. Um, the videos were always really helpful, like being able to see you looking at my analytics and your thought process of like exactly what you were going to. So looking at the CPM, looking at what was trend, how do you say it? Like what was actually helping my video gain views. So if it was like on the watch channel
The
or
source,
if it
the
was
traffic sources.
the traffic sources. Yes, that was all helpful, something I had never looked at before. Now I can still go back there and look and see exactly what's going on and understand. So I really always liked having those videos, just being able to see what you did it and why.
Yeah, and the video she's talking about is I send a weekly video where I'm reviewing the channel and the all the analytics for that week. So everyone who gets the coaching, they get that weekly video. And yeah, I do it so that it's not like, here, do this. I want you to know why, because I want you to be able to continue this on.
Keep doing it. Exactly.
Yeah. When your channel started to take off again, what did that look like for you?
So it started to grow again. Subscribers was probably like one of the first things we were noticing. Like I said, by the time we were working together, I think I was around 182,000 subscribers, and it was stuck that whole year. So once these videos started to take off, and I finally started to see a plus, and it was like, okay, now we're gaining, and it was just slowly increasing. When we would get like 50,000 views on a video, like that helped. But then when we would get like 350,000 on a video, that was massive because a lot of people were coming in. So that was like the first thing we were noticing was just major increase in subscriber count, which I just, again, have not seen for, if you don't see that for the whole year and then suddenly you see it, you're like, oh my gosh, like it feels so good. Um, and I was thinking like, these are, sometimes I feel like the newer people that come in, like they're more loyal people because they see a more recent video, so they know more about me, and like maybe they're willing to keep going through the ride with me. So I'm feeling like these are good people coming in who are gonna like continue wanting to watch my stuff and be interested. Views obviously were changing. So, you know, I was getting, I would say at least 10,000 on the lower end, which before it was like 5,000 on the
Mm-hmm.
lower end, as you had asked me earlier. So even that alone was like, felt so good to me. If it was like a low video and I got 10,000, I was just happy it got 10,000 views. And then, you know, some of them would be like 30,000, some would be 50, and then we would get
Mm-hmm.
like the gem of like 350. So that was major. And then the money was a major change. So before you started helping me, and I will give numbers here because people need to know the truth
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Um, remember you asked me like, how much are you making from AdSense? And I told you $500
And I was like,
a month. And as it was coming out of my mouth, like I'm like, I don't even understand how it's so low because I was
yeah,
uploading 4 videos
month.
a month.
Yeah.
And so definitely increasing to 2 videos a week was like, you know, changing that a ton
Mm-hmm.
already.
Mm-hmm.
But also the view counts increasing, everything increasing was changing that. So it like I actually just looked at my financials today, like looking at the months before we got on this call, and it like just steadily increased. So it went from like 500, then like 6, 7, and then the max that when we had worked together was like 2,500. And I'm talking like just from AdSense. Like after 2 months of working together, because you know, like YouTube pays you a month after whatever. So it took a while for the numbers to show. But yeah, so then it was like 2,500, which is like 5 times what I had started making. And what was frustrating about when I was making 500 a month was, first of all, one, all the time I put into a video to make $500 a month. It's just like blah. But then also, I needed to take way more sponsorships because I had to supplement that money, the income, right? So I was still making money, but majority of my money was definitely not coming from AdSense. It was coming from sponsorships and brand deals. And it was to a point where before I was working with you, I was like almost every video was a sponsored video, which is
Mm-hmm. I
not really
remember.
ideal, um, you know, like for your audience. And I mean, they were genuine. Like any deal I take, I'm giving my genuine opinion and I'm being honest about the product. But it is exhausting, first of all, because I didn't have a management firm helping me with like brand deals. So I really did everything on my own. So you're managing the contracts and managing communication with these brands, and then on top of that, all the other work you're doing. So it just like all my work was like doubled because it was like, okay, I'm not making enough from AdSense. And then I
Mm-hmm.
remember you telling me like, you want to be in control of whether or not you take a deal. You don't want to feel like you have to take a deal because you have to like pay your bills that month and you're not making enough from AdSense. And that really stuck out to me. And I was like, man, yeah, it's like I do not want to feel like I have to take these deals because it's exhausting to take that many deals a month. And I also feel like that when you take too many deals, it can potentially irritate your audience a little
Yeah.
bit. Like
Mm-hmm.
every video you put up, another sponsorship, you know, like I get it. Some of them are very supportive and they're like, get your deal, girl. Like it's fine. But I also just personally like don't want to do that for every video. So that was a major change because then once my money increased from AdSense, I was like, oh, I feel like relieved. I don't have to take every single deal, not every single deal, but I don't have to take, you know, a deal for every video that comes my way. Um, so that was fantastic.
Yeah.
So that was like a huge, yeah, that was a huge change, was just realizing I have the potential to put 2 videos up a week. No one was pushing me to do it before, or challenging me, I should say, to do it before. And so once you did, it was like, I can do it if I really want to do it. Sure, it's more work, but I can do it because I've done it before, so I can do it, right? And then that's, you know, that's going to increase your revenue. But then like everything just increases because it's all residual. So like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, if you put more videos up and then more people are coming in, more people are seeing you, like it's just all adding up and then the money adds up. So that was really great to see. Huge,
Yeah.
huge. factor for me that was like, okay, this was all so worth it once that was coming through, you know. It was amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, yes, you're welcome. So, what would you tell somebody that's considering getting the one on one coaching and maybe they're on the fence or they're not sure?
Yeah. Well, I think that with any business, and like having a YouTube is basically having your own business, you're a business
Mm-hmm.
owner. There is some risk you have to take, and you eventually get to a point where there's just some investment you're going to have to put in. And me and my husband are both business owners, so I learned a lot from him. Actually, he was like the one that was like, Nicole, I know it's not easy to make this decision and put money towards this, but I've had to do it. I'm a business owner, and at some point you need to invest in your business if you want to see growth. And that's just sort of the point, and obviously you need to be at that point financially where you can get there. But I think the biggest thing is just if you're willing to put in the work, and you truly, when you say, I want this and I want to do this, you really mean that, then you're going to see results. I mean, it really comes down to us. And we had this conversation and we were really candid about it. And I was like, am I going to get a return on my investment? And you were like, Nicole, what you put in is what you'll get out of it. If you're serious about this, I think that will happen, and you were very honest with me, and we both went in 100% at it. And then that's what happened. But like, I spent 3 months straight with you working my butt off, and
Mm-hmm.
you worked your butt off to help me. And I made sure every week I put up 2 videos, and worked late at night and did what I had to do to make it happen, because I knew like I'm putting a lot into this. So I want to know that I am giving my 110%, so I don't look back and regret it and say, did I really give everything I could have, And now I look back, I'm like, I did. Like, I put everything into it that I possibly could have. And at the end of the day, I saw my return on investment, but I also learned a lot about myself, and I have skills and tools now that I can take beyond, coaching with you. Like, all these things you taught me, I can just keep doing it now that
Mm-hmm.
I learned how your brain works, Erica, and I could just
Yeah.
replicate it.
Well,
I'm
that's my
like, teach me
goal.
your ways.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's my goal. Is I just want I'm funneling everything I know. So, how has the coaching, going through the coaching, changed your YouTube channel and your life?
I think that it just brought me out of that rut. Like, I was in such a rut, and anyone close to me knew, and my husband knew, and I was like, I just don't know what to do anymore. To the point where you kind of think like, I don't know if this is for me. I don't know if I can handle it anymore. I don't know if I can get out of this. And so it changed my life in the way of saying, you can, there's a way to get out of this, but
Mm-hmm.
also, there's strategies and there's formulas, and there's skills and tools that are out there that you can have, and that can help you push forward and push through this. Because I don't think this is the first time that this is going to happen to me, that I'm going to plateau.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it
Mm-hmm.
happens. It just happens. And I talked to you about it happening with other channels as well that you've worked with. And there's so many people on YouTube. Like, there's so many people that you're competing against that, like, every so often, yeah, you're going to hit a little bit of like a roadblock. And so this is cool because now I know, like, okay, once I hit another roadblock, like, what do I need to shake up a little bit to get out of it? Like, what do I need to change up and switch up a bit to get out of it? And I think that you really gave me the tools to do so. So I love that. Basically, you really helped me just continue on this YouTube journey that I'm on. Um, and I'm excited to see what's in the future, because now I'm pregnant again. So I have all this new content, because,
Mm-hmm.
being pregnant, you have all this new content. So it's like anything can happen this year, with my channel, just as I continue to go through the journey of life and I share it with people, and I'm my authentic self. And I don't remember what the question was anymore. How did it change? How
Yeah,
did it change my
your
life?
life.
Yeah, I think that ultimately it's showing me, if this were to happen again, because I remember even telling, like, expressing to you, like, I'm so scared this is going to happen again,
Mm-hmm.
and telling you, like, what if I just go downhill? I had like trauma or something. Like, what if I go downhill again? But I don't have that fear anymore. Like,
Mm-hmm.
honestly, I've let go of a lot of the fear of like being obsessed with the numbers and obsessed with like trying to replicate what another channel, like, you know, not being myself. Like now I'm just like, I just want to be myself. I want to put good content on there. I want to work hard. And if I just do my job well and I implement what I learned, like things are going to fall into place and things are going to work out. And they have been, and that's been really awesome.
Hmm.
So yeah, I'm just pumped for the future and whatever else could happen this year.
Well, I'm so happy to see all the success that your channel has had and how it's, affected your own outlook on YouTube and everything. So it was so awesome getting to know you and working with you. I loved you. I'm your number one fan. I just had so much fun, having you as, as a
Yeah.
client with coaching. And it was just as rewarding for me as it was for you. So anybody that's not familiar with you and your channel, where can they go check you out?
So my channel is called Nicole Layla Green, and you could just search that on YouTube, and it'll come up. And my Instagram is also Nicole Layla Green. Those are my two primary platforms. And so, like I mentioned earlier, I share a lot of, um, what is my tagline? Oh, now it's faith,
Faith
family, and
family. Yeah.
lifestyle. I changed it from before. So yeah, faith, family, and lifestyle. So I share my life with people. I share a lot of motherhood content and baby related content. My husband's in it. He's funny and he's great to see too. But
Yeah.
yeah, I would love to have anybody who's interested come join me.
She's got a great channel. Well, Nicole, thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Bye. Bye.
All right, bye-bye.